my beating heart, falling roses break apart, falling roses, my broken.
Well, we're back.
Yes, we are.
Frankie,
we're happy to be.
Yes, could you believe it's almost a year since I had you on here, my friend?
Crazy.
Everybody, welcome to the latest edition of Carl's Corner. You know, I've been a little bit crazy with 2025. I'm glad 25 is over. But I reached out to Frankie right around the holidays, and here we are almost, mid-April already.
We're almost at May again.
And a lot has happened in that year. A lot's happened with me. We talked about that, but we won't dwell on it, but thank God with spirituality and faith got me through it to get back to my and this is your 10th, my friend.
Number 10. This is a big one.
Yes.
I'm happy it's here. I'm happy it's finally back. I'm happy to be back. I mean, it's I cannot believe it feels like yesterday we were talking about getting on the next one around the holidays, and now it's already almost a year.
But it makes you realize how quickly life goes, man. You know,
it
flies. And
when you have fun. When you have fun or when things are crazy.
Well, God bless you. You know, I speak a lot about to you. I have that friend of mine who's now in Florida, Johnny Patillo, was with Danny and the Juniors, and he's still going strong at 75, 76.
Amen.
And the biggest thing is John was always from 14, 15 years old, was always to make his living by singing. He never had to get a real job.
Yep.
So I know, going through school, you worked at Deluxe, the good old bakery back in Runnymede. Yep. But look, it looks like you're on your way to making your living with your great music. So
I'm blessed to have that. I mean, it's been one hell of a ride, and I'm really excited to see where it continues.
So I played that initial video of, now since we talked, you had other originals. So I'm going to play this one more time. I know our mics are off when it plays, but you could describe this too.
Falling roses, they break apart. My beating,
Falling Roses.
my beating heart, falling roses, break apart, falling roses, my broken.
There it is.
All right.
It played. I was like, it's not playing. I'll just start talking. But Fallen Roses, man, it is what an awesome project and such a. I mean, it has been almost 2 years since I released the Funny Feelings EP, which was in early November of 2023 or 24. I think, yeah, 20. I guess it would have been 24. Oh my God. So Fallen Roses is kind of since Funny Feelings and leading up to Fallen Roses, I had a lot of change in my life and, different things, just really trying to make that living that we were talking about and trying to make a name for myself in this city after the EP was released. And I took that time, I didn't waste that time. I took that time and made a name for myself in this city and met some really awesome people that I'm excited to talk about today. And that eventually pushed me to finally waking up one day and saying, all right, it's time to record. And when I talked to Neil Mehta, which if you have watched the past podcasts, you'll know I talk about Neil Mehta a good amount. He was the producer of Funny Feelings and is now the producer of Fallen Roses. When I talked to him, I said, "Hey, Neil, I want to record a song and possibly do a whole nother project for this year, and I want to make this year full of release and just full of music." And Neil said, "Well, what's the first one you want to do?" And I said, "Well, ideally, I'd love to do a single first, and I'd love it to be Fallen Roses." Fallen Roses was the first ever song I ever wrote. It's the first song I ever finalized, and it is the first song that I ever wrote about myself, and from my own experience. When you listen to Fallen Roses, a lot of the feedback, which has been amazing, so thank you to everyone who's given the feedback. when you listen to Fallen Roses, your mind automatically goes to a heartbreak song. A lot of people went straight to this is a heartbreak song, this and that, and what's really unique about this song is I never told anybody what the true meaning of Fallen Roses was until someone actually pulled it out. I wanted someone to figure it out on their own, and then I would start telling people. And it took a handful, probably about almost 4 years after writing that song, for someone to figure that out. We were singing the song and playing it in the studio and adding things to it, and I'm telling Neil, I said I want to try and add a cathedral organ, if not a cathedral organ, something that we can do from the computer, and the keyboard that he has. And thanks to technology, everything was able to be done in the same room. So everything you hear from the trumpet in the song, to the pianos, the keyboards, is all done virtually through that piano that Neil has there by the window. And what's really unique about the song is then you have the acoustic guitar, which was done by Nick Tyler. Love Nick Tyler, shout out to him. But just that kind of uniqueness all stirred into one and into this melting pot. And Neil kind of turns and he goes, I think I know what Fallen Roses is about. And goes on to say he says there's something spiritual about it. There's something religious about the song. And that couldn't be more true. Fallen Roses is the story of my faith, and I wrote it in a time when I was refinding my faith and back on my journey of finding who I was and who God was. And I started asking the questions and actually giving him a chance to answer them. And so, after years of never really stepping foot in a church, I finally went back, and now I can say that I'm happy, and I found a comfortable spot to be in when it comes to religion and my faith and how to practice my faith. But Fallen Roses was my rebellion song. It's rebellious, and it asks the questions that I wanted to ask at the time, and I kind of put God on the spot in that song. And I talk about places that I've been and friend groups that I've been in. One of my favorite lines that I've ever written is in this song, and it's in one of the later verses, and it says the words, I got kicked out of the gardens I never liked. And for me, I mean, just with losing friendships that I thought were real, I would always just go and question God, like, why did I lose this friendship? Why did this person hurt me? Why did this person do this to me? And those words, putting that in that song, just added to the pain. The song is, like I said, it's rebellious, but it's painful, and it's answer seeking, and it's interesting, and it makes you want to go out and ask those questions yourself. And for me, I mean, we got to a point where we finally were mastering it, and Neil mastered the track and sent it to me, and I had no notes. I mean, it just came out. When I tell you this song the process couldn't have went more perfect. And Fallen Roses built itself. I mean, we just played the instruments on it, but it knew it was ready. And just the power of music and the spirit of music and the spirit of rock and roll, man. It came out in full-fledged in this song. And if there's ever going to be a song I release, in the next couple years, this is the song in my repertoire that I have that I know is probably my most personal, and is the song that I will tell people to go to and listen to. You want to listen to a Frankie Rae song, go listen to that. It's a beautiful.
It'll be the song. It'll be this, like, almost the encore when they're all with not the lighters anymore, with the phones and doing that,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, it'll definitely be the song that I go out and sing acoustic. It originally was just supposed to be me and the guitar, and then I had ideas of wanting a piano, and that grew into the organ. I wanted my voice to sound. We did try to have a conversation about recording some of the stuff in a cathedral. Um, it just didn't really work out. Trying to find a time where a cathedral's completely empty and they're willing to keep the door shut for an hour to let us record is kind of crazy. Um, but not knocking on any of the cathedrals in town. I mean, it's just business at that point. But um, it we were able to, using the world of technology, we were able to recreate a sound that we hadn't really heard yet. Um, and that is that really opened my eyes to the ability of technology. Um, I'm not an AI artist. I don't ever see myself ever becoming an AI artist. And we did not use AI in any of these, if that's maybe a question that's arisen. But um, this song is built off of a keyboard and an acoustic guitar and my voice. And that's the coolest part about modern music, I must say, is we didn't even need to hire a horn player. We were able to do it on the keyboard, which
I
is
know.
easy. It's crazy to talk about. And when we were sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, like, there were some sounds that trumpet was making that we were like, all right, that sounds like a robot, but but the one we found after going through a whole horn section was perfect. I was wanting a very specific sound for that trumpet that you hear come in towards the middle of the song, and I said that I really want, at the church that I go to, they have a piano player, a singer, and a trumpet player, and there's a very specific sound, but it's very triumphant in its own right, and this hosanna, you know what I mean? This spiritual uplifting that feeling that comes out of that trumpet. That's what I wanted, and we found that. And like I said, Fallen Roses built itself in a matter of 3 or 4 days, and it was phenomenal.
Well, Frankie, it's a shame you're so shy and you can't describe what you're looking for, which is wonderful. I know we haven't been on since last May. So there's a lot of people around here that watch my podcast. It's amazing and it's short. So give yourself an introduction again, because I know you through family from back in New Jersey, but give another, update who you are, where you're from, and where you're at now, because I talk a lot about you, but for new people that are watching this, and I find that the YouTube shorts, the last one we did got almost 4,000 views.
Oh, it's awesome, man.
Especially different things, because it automatically AI cuts everything. Yeah. And when you're talking about, Hello, Catherine, had a lot of that too. So give you a little reintroduction of yourself and your quest down there and kicking it in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Frankie Rae. As you can see, I'm a country artist, singer-songwriter here in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been performing. I'm 21 right now, so I've been performing. I think we've counted anywhere from almost 15 years of that. 15 years of my life, maybe a little shorter, maybe 14 years. I started out in improv and different performing arts aspects, and then got into more of the technical side of things, along with continuing to perform. And closer to my high school years, I was performing at sometimes. There were some times of the year that
where was?
Oh, yes. I come from the great state of New Jersey.
The southern part. The southern part.
South Jersey, yep. The better part, the better state, if you ask me. Sorry, my cat is getting frisky with the wires.
We gotta have a podcast just with your cat.
Just with the cat. Just with Waylon. Just let Waylon talk.
Get a million views on that.
He's jealous that he's not getting the attention he deserves. But anyway, I come from the great state of New Jersey, the great state of South Jersey, and right outside of Philadelphia. I grew up with my wonderful family, who I met dearly. And I met Carl through my wonderful family, and he is family to me.
With
And
your uncle having that phenomenal New Year's Eve with all
yes,
the food and the roast pork.
oh yes.
Frankie, he's going to ship a couple of roast porks out here. It's the one thing I can't get, man. The
You know,
food.
we had me and him always have a bet every time I get on this podcast. How many times you're gonna have that roast pork sandwich? I hope you know that.
But
It's delicious though. Yes,
that's the biggest thing out here now. Weather-wise, it's amazing. We got overcast and a little rainy the last 2 days. It's beautiful weather-wise. You didn't have to go through the winter today. They did.
Yeah.
I know you had a winter too. But it's the food. People go roast pork. No, they can't get.
I don't
You know,
sound-
a steak sandwich. Yeah, I got to make my own. And all that. So yes, who's going to win the bet about the food now?
Well, Carl, let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced the Garnival? Like you've celebrated Garnival?
Of course.
Yes.
Not as much as you guys do. You know what I mean? With the food on the table, right?
Yeah.
Not
Do you
on
have,
the
have
plastic.
you ever experienced that? Have you ever done it?
Once or twice.
Once or twice.
My family, for some reason, didn't do that.
Yeah.
But other families, the cousins did it. So yeah, I've experienced it. Yes.
So I'll make you laugh with this. That night, that Tuesday, I said I want to go and I want to get good Italian food. I want to get good Italian food. I know there's a couple spots in the city. I find this one place. I'm not going to name drop them because I don't want to disrespect them or nothing. But I pull up to the place and they're closed. They're only open Friday through Sunday. I thought it was crazy that they weren't open on probably one of the most important feasts of the Italian culture. And then, so I went to another restaurant and I asked him if I could dump my pasta on the table. And the girl looked at me and she said, "No, sir, we'll have to kick you out if you do that."
Frankie, it's the mentality up here. It's sad. I'll just give you, I know we're off topic, but look, we're talking, paisans over here, food.
Couple paisans.
So when I first came out here, I went to a couple places that had pizza, and I said very innocently, "Do you sell slices?" And they look at you weird.
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, no, we'll cut it into slices for you." I said, no, you sell individual slices. And they go, "How do you do that?" I actually got out, Mac and Manco's. I took a picture, I screenshotted their boardwalk display. It has 15, 20 different pizzas and
every type of pizza on the menu.
And I said, but the thing that really screwed them up, I said, you make more money selling individual slices.
Yep.
And I go, how can you do that?
Oh yeah.
And so, okay.
There's one place here that does it, and they're the only one with a good slice.
Yeah, there's a couple around here. A guy from the Bronx, down in Temecula, perfect. A couple you got to really find. Now it's a shame. Now last year, a little bit right after we did our last podcast, I see a buddy of mine down Huntington Beach. I love the beaches where Gina's sister Angela used to live. Yeah, that we used to come out here all the time. So a year ago, I came out. It was Huntington Beach, not on the beach, but a little bit block. I found this place. The guy was from Wisconsin, made some incredible pan pizzas, great food, great wings, everything. And I go, oh, this is incredible. And I go, but Frankie, he's only open 4 to 11. And I give him this, and I say,
4 to 11.
I said, sell slices, put a little sign out there and open up at 11 o'clock as a pizza place. That's your bulk, your lunch and all that. He goes, well, I can't handle, the labor. I said, you got to do it or you're not going to survive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last weekend, I was there. I had my friend, and I figured, it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Before I go back to my hotel, I'm going to stop in there.
Right.
And guess what? He's closed.
Oh, geez.
And it's just that mentality. And they couldn't understand you don't have enough hours in a day to make money.
No one understands that people want to eat 24 hours a day.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? People want to eat.
And it's a shame Wawa took over, from the 24-hour diners. So look, I am going to I'm going to make a trip back the middle of summer. I got some family issues to take care of. And, maybe are you going back to Jersey anytime during the summer?
Yeah, my hope is to do a trip. I mean, right now I have No idea when that could be. Um, but I think July is my ballpark right now.
Around the 4th?
No, I'll be here playing the 4th. So
Okay, so it'll be after
um,
that.
so I got to stay in Nashville for the holiday, but um, it might be like the week after. Take a break
Okay.
after that because that weekend will be crazy.
Because
Uh,
my dear friend Kristen, who's I went to go see in Florida now, she has family up there in Maple Street, but she has family that rents in
yeah,
Ocean City, another one that rents in Wildwood, and I want to experience the summer in the Jersey Shore for a little bit.
yeah, oh
So
yeah,
I'm going
that's
to
what I
be
need.
planning that,
Mhm.
because they're it's not wondering like, oh, we're going to have good pizza or good food anywhere. It's everything is good. One
Heartache secured by the sea, my friend.
But one other thing that I think is so funny and so fascinating, I don't know if you've picked it up, but the cheesesteak wars between Joey Merlino and Pat's. Have you picked that up?
Oh yes,
Oh my
oh yes.
God, that is
Uncle
insane.
Ray just sent me. He just had me shipped 4 Pat's cheesesteaks. They freeze them. They
Oh
freeze
yeah,
them in the bread, and then you put the cheese and you cook your own onions, but you put the cheese over top of them, and you just cook them in the oven for like 15 minutes on 350.
yeah.
And it is just, I
Now,
mean, a Pat's cheesesteak at 2 o'clock in the morning is just a greasy, fatty mess.
but that's what
So
you want.
it's not fine dining. So you don't
No.
expect fine dining, and so it is like a little piece of heaven. And they send the fries.
Well, the funny thing is now when I went back in 24 to handle some stuff, I went there because my parents, when I was born to my 4 years old, if you look across that playground,
Yep.
there was a third floor apartment. I went there and ate. And for some reason, to me, it wasn't quite the same. But I think when I saw they just wanted $14 for it. When I first got my license in 1970, it was a buck and a
$14
quarter.
for a cheesesteak. Oh, that's a dream.
But the
That's
funny
a
thing is, the
dream.
war between Joey and Merlino's,
Yep.
Skinny Joey's place down by the stadiums,
Yep.
and Pat's, it's just hysterical about all that. So,
Now
okay,
you
I
have
know
Gino too. You have Geno's with the neon lights, and they're basically putting their marketing all over the street. That's
Geno's got successful from the overflow from Pat's.
yep.
Because I
They
remember
wanted to wait in the line, so they went.
they opened up in '66, and people said, instead of going here, let's go here. And he became successful that way too. But hey, all right, we've talked enough about food. I'm
All
getting
right, that's
hungry. So,
food.
so yeah, your
Back
uncle's
to
going to say,
promo.
okay, we had a 5 minute thing about food, but the one thing you can't do is I still think that last New Year's Eve at there when he had that roast pork, I think I had
Oh yeah.
3 sandwiches. I OD'd on roast pork.
Yes, you did. I think we all did.
So anyway,
This year, I don't think he made the roast pork this year because I remember
I'm glad
asking
I
him.
didn't.
I
Glad
went. You
I
don't
didn't
know if
fly it.
Carl's going to be here, so you better make some roast pork.
So anyway, all right. So this
Uh,
is April of 20. So now I have something here about now you're doing a radio station promotion or what do you?
Yeah, so this was a couple weeks ago now, and you can still go back and listen on their app, which is really cool. That's what I love about modern radio. You hear something cool on the radio. Guess what? It's streaming as well, so you can go and listen to it. So a local radio station out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, is WHIN 100.7 FM or 1010 AM. And I got to perform with two of my good buddies, Dwayne House and Cam Morris. Um, it's such a cool opportunity. Jeff Shannon is the radio host, and Mr. Shannon is such a cool dude, man. I mean, he's stylish. First of all, he's a stylish guy. He knows how to dress. But it's really cool. They set us up in the writers' round style, and for an entire hour, for the 7 o'clock hour of that night every Wednesday, 3 to 4 artists get to perform in a writers' round style and sing. And we got to debut some songs I never got to sing before live yet. I had Mr. Nick Tyler with me, so we got to perform some new songs, which were super cool. And yeah, man, it just wound up making for a really cool time. It's my second time being on the radio, which with WHIN. So just super cool opportunity. You know what I mean? They're super supportive of the artists. They wind up actually playing our songs on the radio throughout the day. a lot of times, which is really cool to get people like, hey, this guy's going to be performing tonight live at 7 o'clock. Here's the song, So that's really cool to hear, and it's just awesome to be driving down the road and later hear yourself have people hear you on the radio and then text you when you're done and say, hey, I heard you on the radio. That was really cool.
Yeah, let me just give, I know these are short little clips here, but just let's give them a little flavor of what you're like, on stage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So now you're getting a following, you're getting like fan clubs and all that?
Dude, I've got some fun things to tell you, man. I mean, the amount of people who are just showing up on the social medias, if you haven't followed on the social medias, please do so. It is our goal for this year. The end of this year is 10,000 followers on any of the platforms. It does not matter which one. But the following that I've got so far has been the largest group of supporters I've ever had. And it starts with my family, and it starts with my mother, my beautiful mother, and then it starts with my family and my wonderful nephews and nieces who motivate me every day to continue to do what I do, so I can inspire them to do what they want to do and be good in school and get their things done. And there's my beautiful mama there. She just came to town for Easter. But the following that I have attracted over this time, that since the last one we had, has grown, if not double, I mean triple. But what's really cool is like people are starting to recognize me, and it's funny because I dress like that on stage, and I dress all flashy and crazy and shiny, and I've got the rhinestone jacket, from Be Unique. Shout out to Be Unique out of San Francisco with the shiny, awesome blinged up jackets. If you need a jacket done, she can do it for you. But I sent B a crazy idea. I said, I want to be Elvis, and I want to be this, and I want to be that, but I most importantly want to be Frankie Rae. And she took all those inspirations, and she took me as an inspiration, and she made the coolest jacket I've ever worn. It's in one of those pictures you were showing there. But I mean, just I'm a rhinestone cowboy like I've always wanted to be, and it's so cool, man. I mean, each and every rhinestone on that jacket is individually placed and just super unique. But anyway, getting recognized is so fun for me because I can mess with people, and I love being a little jokester, but I also love letting people see who I really am in real life, away from the stage. Again, on stage, I'm this blinged up cowboy who's probably like 6'2", and then when I take the boots off, I'm 5'10", and just wearing shorts and a t-shirt. After one of my biggest shows of the year, we had an awesome show. It was that night that we took that Mr. Brightside clip, and just an awesome show. And one of those nights where I felt the spirit controlling the performance, and I'm walking through the airport, and I hear this gentleman go, "Frankie Rae?" And I turn around, and it's this couple, and they apparently were there for the whole show. They were like, "We just saw you 2 hours ago." I had just gotten out of the show. I went home, took a shower, and I went straight to the airport to get on a flight to head home for a weekend. And they were like, "Frankie Rae? Didn't we just see you 2 hours ago?" And I'm like, "Yep, I'm heading to New Jersey." They were from Philadelphia, and just so happened to be in the airport, and they recognized me. And I was, I got my sunglasses on because my eyes are hurting from the lights because the sun's up and I'm still asleep. So I got my sunglasses on. I'm just in my hoodie and shorts, and I was like, "I'm sorry, you have to see me like this." But they were like, "No, this is so cool." And we're taking pictures, and
There you go.
just such an awesome moment for me. And it's cool to also see people come back. Like last Tuesday, we did a show at Legends Corner on Broadway here in Nashville, and a nice couple came up and they were just kind of they were like, "Hey, we come out to your friend shows all the time. We wanted to come out and see you tonight." And they're amazing people. So if they watch this, shout out to y'all. And it's just so cool to have people coming to see, especially locals, giving locals a chance to enjoy Broadway and the more touristy areas makes me feel good. Um, I know that I feel in those moments that I know I'm doing something right. If I'm even though the touristy part of Nashville can be really annoying for the locals, I'm still giving them a reason to go down and enjoy it. Um, it's like living right outside. It's like living an hour away from the shore. To a New Yorker, our beach towns are the best things since sliced bread. To us, we've known the beaches our whole lives, and a lot of us work during that time. And there's definitely weekends that we don't go down the shore because there's big events going on that we know it's going to be a big tourist trap, and it's going to be a little annoying for us locals. But I see it in their eyes too. Like I'm also not afraid to go down and go get a good slice of pizza from Sam's or Manco and Manco, and I'm not afraid to go get some curly fries.
Here we go, talking
Go to
about
Gateway
food again.
I know,
Talking
but it's
about
the
food
truth. You
again.
know what I mean? There's a lot of cool things that happen down on Broadway here in Nashville, and a lot of the locals are turned away from those cool things because of the tourists. And it feels good for me to be able to be the person that brings those people back to enjoy it.
So two things. Now, I know the last time we talked that you were looking for production companies to be the right one to do a music video. Has that progressed in anything, doing any kind of music video?
We are in the process of doing a smaller music video for Fallen Roses, with the new project that's going to come out pretty soon, which we'll talk about. Um, the plan is to do a couple music videos for that, because there's some really cool songs that I think deserve to have that. They might come a little later than the album, but well, it's not going to be an album; it's going to be EP, but might come a little later than the EP. But definitely going to try different ways, and we're finding now that the last time we talked, you start talking around town to certain people and you say, "Hey, I'd like to do a music video." Well, I know this guy, but he charges this. Or I know this guy and they charge this. Me being, a busking musician, I don't have that kind of money. So it's either there's two routes. I can go the route of fundraising that money. And I can go the route of finding maybe someone who'd like to sponsor, which we're always open to sponsors. There's any of the beer companies, liquor companies, anyone knows that want to sponsor our band. That's perfect. That's great. That would be awesome. But those opportunities come a little bit slower than this project is moving. So in the case of we're doing it now is kind of finding ways that we can do it ourselves. And like I said, with modern technology, we went from needing a studio to being able to do it in Neil's bedroom, being able to make the record in Neil's bedroom, everything out of it.
So if you need any consulting for doing a music video, my background is that I would throw it out there to you to help out. They really, rather than do it that way, do it this way.
Carl? I was going to reach out to you a couple weeks ago and I just never did because the conversation ended, but we were in talks of there were some things that we had questions about music video wise. And so
anytime
I'll shoot you a text. Now I'm going to shoot you a text once I remind myself what those questions were. But it was just editing advice on as far as what platforms and stuff, you know what I mean? Because we're finding that we can record this ourselves.
Frankie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Your school that you go to, is it just audio?
So Belmont, the Curb College of Music Business Entertainment is everything from movies. Their film school is phenomenal here at Belmont. They do everything from Foley sound.
Why can't you get some, graduates that this is their project? Because now I want to
charge.
Now, Frankie, I went to Glassboro State a long time ago. I was a cameraman on on my film project.
Yeah.
How far back it went. You know, Channel 12 was the educational channel for Delaware Valley, right?
Yeah.
They got rid of their black and white TV cameras and everything when they went full color, donated to Glassboro State. We were using Channel 12's old black and white for television. Okay.
Oh,
and then we were
Lord.
shooting 16 millimeter film for our little projects. And we had our little projects. So that's how far back I go and some of the stuff. So if I could help out in any kind of consulting, and even I wouldn't mind coming on maybe my dime to be on set, because that's all I think about. MTV took my job. I in the Beatles thinking about music videos.
Yeah.
So, but you're there at school. They have the cameras.
Yep.
Why you have a part of your project for their project?
Yeah. I think it's a sense of, I will find that collaboration as far as the different schools under the college, under the Curb College, is limited. My involvement at Belmont since I've been working more on my career has been definitely limited because of just time. So meeting those people it's been limited. But I will say that the people I've met outside of Belmont and pursuing my career, there are people who I've talked to and have the ability to do that. And so what that comes down to is it's coming down to, I have a buddy with a nice camera, a nice digital camera that we can record that footage on. So just call him up, be like, hey, I'd rather be able to say, hey, I can give you $50 and I'll buy you a pizza for the day to let you just come in and record with your camera, for that time frame that I need you, rather than pay the wind up paying or going into the school and getting the approval that I need from the school to use their equipment that student would have to get the approval for. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's levels to it. And I'm finding that in modern technology, we're able to do it from home.
They shoot them on,
and that's the cool part.
They shoot them on iPhones now.
Yeah. I got a GoPro. I made a vlog not too long ago, and I'm working on my second one right now. I was originally planning to be a little more consistent with the vlogs, but I think I like letting things age a little bit and then making a new one over time. And so I've been using this GoPro that I got for Christmas. Thank you to my family for the GoPro. We love it. And recording footage throughout the shows and stuff. And
because then that's part of documentary stuff. You shoot all that B-roll, as they call it, B-roll. You got content for a documentary.
Exactly. Piecing it all together and stuff like that.
Well,
it's cool, man.
Now, one other thing, I know there was a song from a certain artist that I knew from back in the 80s. I suggested it to you. Did you ever think about playing it or anything?
Yeah, we were talking. That was the Mellencamp song, right?
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
because it has a great accordion and fiddle.
Who did I send that to at the time? I think I sent it to the guy, possibly Drew, my bass player, and Bo, my drummer. And I think we tried it out one time. And I forget why we never did it again.
Because
might have just been the guitar players didn't know it or something, and we had to just learn it. And we just never got it.
Not that your original music is not going to be great, but for a new artist, they do a cover from a guy, and they go, "Wow, look at that cover," and then everything comes through it. It's just a thought, Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we do get a lot of feedback on the covers that we do downtown, and people admire that we don't go in and just play the album. I mean, I hire guys that like to jam. We're a jam band, if anything, and we go up and make the songs our own. We do Dixieland Delight by Alabama, but we wind up going into a Steve Miller song, and then we do the Cotton Eye Joe and the YMCA, and then we go into Enter Sandman, and then we go back into Dixieland Delight. I mean, that's a big mashup that we do, and it's super fun. The crowd gets into it. It just keeps people alive. And so we jam, we have fun with it, and people remember that stuff, man.
Now,
played that song, I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? So it's cool, man. The feedback.
Any little mini tours outside of Nashville? Anything? I know he's
Yeah,
talking
man.
possibly about that. Anything scheduled for that?
Stay on the lookout. I'm going to be announcing. I'm going to be down in Destin, Florida.
Oh,
As of right now, I think 2 to 3 dates. It's 2 dates, 3 dates. Um, I didn't write them down before we met, so I don't know off the top of my head. But be on the lookout. I'll be posting about them pretty soon. We're going to be at the only bar in Destin, Florida that's open to the public on the beach. So there's
where exactly is Destin at?
Destin's on the Gulf side of Florida. So the ocean there, it's the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, and I always Gulf of Mexico, but
is it near Clearwater?
different now. But
Is it near Clearwater or like the Tampa area?
Yeah, I think it's a little north of Tampa or south of Tampa. There's going to be people freaking out about that. I don't know geography. I just show up. Okay, I just show up and get paid. But we're doing Destin, Florida. I'm super excited about that, and they're going to be fun. And then also if there's anyone in here from Missouri, more specifically Lake of the Ozarks. I've never been to Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, but I am coming to you May 30th and 31st. Whatever that Friday and Saturday is of that weekend. I think it might be the 29th and 30th. But we are coming down that Friday and Saturday. We're going to be performing at Shady Gators. I am super excited for this gig. That's going to be, to date, our farthest road gig that we've done so far. So very excited about that. And then if you're in the greater Nashville area and Tennessee area, you will be catching me in areas like Franklin coming up pretty soon. Some more stuff in Hendersonville as we get that on the books, and different places like that. So just stay on the lookout. Like I said, Instagram, Facebook, best ways to keep in touch with where we're going to be. But yeah, Destin, Florida, I'm super excited about that. We just the beach and music, and you can't get anything better than that.
Well, Frankie, it's amazing. We're already at 42 minutes.
Oh yeah,
we have to do a monthly now. Remember, we were doing just about a monthly.
Yeah.
Let's try to get back on that routine. Let's do a monthly to keep you, up to date with everything, with schedule and all that, and
especially through the summer because it's definitely a busier season. So having more stuff during the summer would be huge, and I have a lot more free time than once school's done. So
and that's done what in another couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're first week of May is my last week of this semester. I've got one more semester and then I graduate. So we'll do a podcast and everything.
And then what? So you're gonna go get a real job?
I'm gonna go get a real job. I'm gonna be a hardworking man. Yeah, I think I'm looking right now to do maybe something else in the industry, something in A&R, publishing, things like that.
There's where the money is.
I'd love to do that kind of stuff, artist development, because I love helping other people out, figure out who they are and what kind of artist they want to be. That's been always one of my passions. So, like I said in one of the past podcasts, just having people come up to me and ask me for advice, and you're sitting down over coffee with them and letting them pick my brain for an hour. There's people who charge for that. I don't charge for that shit. I mean, if you're somebody who's looking to get into performing and you're passionate about it and you're not going to waste my time and you value my time, I'll sit down for an hour with you and let you pick my brain. It really doesn't bug me. I've never been one of those people to turn somebody down for that. As long as you're driven, you know what I mean? As long as you've got some passion behind it, reach out anytime, DM.
Well, that's why I reached out to you 2 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago, when I started doing podcasts about this. And, and you say you are getting traction from the previous podcasts, the ones we do now, once you post.
I get people who have messaged me. I'll have to find, there's a comment on a post, a later post now, but it said, I saw you on Carl's podcast. Phenomenal. I was like, whoa.
No, you post them
who
where
I was before they saw me on your podcast.
Because I post this my Facebook account with the link to my YouTube account.
Yep.
And then you take it and put it on your account.
Yep. Yeah, we'll put it on the you always post it to the timeline. It winds up getting posted to the timeline, which is awesome. And that helps me. And then I also share it on my Instagram story. And We do. I'm going to try to put it on. I'm reworking my website right now, but I'd like to make a whole tab just for like podcasts.
Frankie, just one other thing then. Just don't go into the full podcast. Now I have my YouTube page. Go into my shorts. Not literally my shorts, my video shorts.
Ah,
But
yes, I will go
anyway,
into your video shorts, your YouTube
because
shorts.
I'm looking at it because now when I download this, it automatically generates AI minute and a half just by keywords.
Yep.
And they're the ones that got almost 3,000 to 4,000 views. So go on there. You can pull that out.
Yep.
Use them because they're already part of it. It'll make your life easier because you can see there's a whole bunch of them.
Anyway, so I look through them and see which.
How do you want me to send? How do you want me to send them to you?
The email was working good, and I just save them from there.
Yeah, because they're shorts. They're not. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I don't need the full file. Your huge files. Okay, I'll go through now. I know I got some things to do a little bit in the afternoon. I may not post this till later tonight, my time, but be on yours. So, in closing for this particular time, what's coming up? I know we're at April 13th. What's coming up in the next week and a half until maybe middle of next month until we talk again?
In the next couple weeks, I mean, you'll be able to see me here at Friends in Low Places every Thursday and Saturday night, 10 to close, every Thursday, Saturday night. So come by, check us out, come see the band. Be on the lookout on the social medias, Frankie Rae Music, just about everywhere you can look. And that's RAE spelled on the bottom there. But Frankie Rae Music, you find me anywhere. And, we'll be going to Destin, like I said, so be on the lookout for those dates if you're in that area during that time. Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, we're coming to you, so be ready. And also just be on the lookout for any other show announcements or any cool things popping up. Sometimes I get stuff kind of just popping up the week of, so be on the lookout. This is a cool time to see Frankie Rae and the band live, and it's a cool time to get involved and to become a fan. One of my favorite things is I love when people are like, I found you before you're famous, and that's super cool for me because I know that fan's committed and they're gonna follow through for the future. And so
that was my original that was my original to get you on. I said I want to get you on before anybody else gets you on. I'll be the first one. So
yep, and I'll always come back to Carl's Corner.
I appreciate that. Now, where can they find your newest release?
You can find this on all streaming platforms. I released it through DistroKid, so thank you, DistroKid, for the release and the help with the release. So Fallen Roses is on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music. You can just watch it on regular old YouTube as a YouTube video. Just a fair warning, a public announcement real quick. On YouTube, if you look up my account, Frankie Rae, there are going to be two. I'm currently fighting with YouTube because they won't post my music under my personal YouTube account. But then on top of that, someone released some AI EP under my name. And so there is a 5-song EP on there that is not mine.
Wow.
You will tell because it is a girl singing. And it is all AI. So just don't listen to that. I'm figuring it out. Work with me. I'm an independent artist doing it all myself. I don't know what the hell's going on. But we're figuring it out. But listen to Funny Feelings EP. That's on there. And also you can listen to Fallen Roses.
Well, you got to keep us updated next month. We'll try to plan on, every month. We come on at least once a month for the rest of the year. Hopefully nothing crazy will happen on my end and all that because I really do appreciate it. As always, stay on after we're finished so everything downloads so we see it. But then we're going to end up closing out on the and just one more time where they could. It's the you say it's the love of your life, the one that the release.
Yes, this song Fallen Roses came out on Good Friday, and it is one of those songs that will forever be in my heart. So go ahead and listen to it.
All right, Frankie. Thank you again. We'll be
buddy.
back soon, and I appreciate it. All right.
Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you.
Fallen roses, they break apart. My beating heart. Fallen roses break apart. Fallen roses.